hello, hello. It's like, I'm coming.
I was thinking, holy shit.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our last module out of 10 classes for Get On Board Ohana, and it wasn't just about Hawaii, it was just regular training. But anyway, I have asked our gorgeous Jayne Tiller, our #1 seller for 2017 to 2018, to talk about one of her favourite products, the KitchenAid, one of her many favourite products. I find sometimes when things are a little bit more expensive, and I found this in my early career as well, in the other job I did, that you were really scared to talk about high-end products. And so I just asked her to tell us, you know, some of her ideas and tips. And for those of you who are going to be watching later and you can opt in, the KitchenAid, I'll tell you what, it gets shipped in 3 days. It's amazing. So, you know, there's so many benefits of having it as part of your demonstration. So I'm going to hand it over to the gorgeous Jayne.
Thank you, Tracy. Hi, everyone. Yeah, shipped in 3 days. I ordered one yesterday for one of the ladies and she's already got it.
No way.
It's crazy. 1 day, not even 24 hours, I don't think. She's already got it. She's so excited, so
wow.
Which is super exciting. So, yeah, look, so I've sort of jotted a few notes down, so I will refer to them because, you know, if your brain's a bit like mine, it's probably, you know, it's a bit all over the shop. So, obviously, you hopefully know that you have to opt in, of course, to be able to sell your KitchenAid Cook Processor. But the thing is that even if you've just started and you're sort of like, oh, I don't know whether I want to invest in the Cook Processor yet, you can still actually sell them without even having one. One of my newbies, she borrowed one of her girlfriends for the weekend, and she had that on display at a market and also at a class last week. And so she, you know, she hasn't got the money at the moment to opt in, so she's just decided to sort of go ahead and see what sort of interest she gets, which is, you know, it's fine. It's actually better for you if you don't opt in until, you know, pretty much till you've got a sale, because as soon as we opt in from that from that date, you've got your 90 days, you know, you sell your 6, you get your $15.99 back. So it's really exciting. I mean, how cool is the fact that we have that option? This, you know, the company allows that to happen for starters. And I think, Tracy, you were saying, you know, someone that you were talking to, like even the fact that, okay, so I opt in and I go, oh, well, you know, I'd like to sell 6, but if I don't, you know, I've sold 3 in that 3 months. Now, that's 90 days, 3 months. Like, it's a fair chunk of time. If you're doing a class a week or a class a fortnight, it's still really achievable. But even if I've sold 3, that's $600 that I'm getting back, that is coming off that $15.99 basically. So, you know, that's still a huge amount of money. I just think it's amazing that we have that option. So I think we're really blessed that we can sort of, you know, roll with that. And if that's what you're aiming for, you know, if the product and whatever is what you're aiming for, it's just a great way to do it. So, you know, I think you sort of have to ask yourself what's sort of holding you back from doing it. And it's obviously, it is a big investment, but I think to have, I know when I've done opt-in calls with, you know, people in my team, one of the questions is, you know, what do you think the KitchenAid will bring to your business offering? And it's, the responses that you get are just fantastic, because it's like, well, you know, I think it's such an amazing machine. It's going to cater to so many different people, so many different age groups, whether you're a great cook, whether you're not a great cook. And that sort of leads me into, you know, as humans, I think we are the worst for assuming. And it's that whole don't ever assume that this machine won't suit someone. You know, prime example is me doing some demonstrations, and I've got some ladies that are, you know, all 70 plus, and you know, me still saying to the host, oh, well, look, you know, I'm still going to bring this machine along because I just got to part of my, you know, company policy that I just have it sitting on the bench, and you know what, let's just do some bread and butter in it anyway, because, you know, there's probably a few of you from farming backgrounds, you probably had to make your own butter anyway, so it'd be a really good transition for you to, you know, have a look and see what you think. And then the fact that, you know, you have sales for people of that age group because they don't have the strength in their wrists to chop anymore. The fact that they don't have to, although we have awesome saucepans, they don't have to lift heavy saucepans up onto the stovetop anymore and wash them and so on. You know, those steamer baskets are so much lighter. The fact that stuff can go in the dishwasher. So then, of course, you sort of look at it and you go, well, that's really going to appeal to busy people that are maybe in a one-bedroom unit in the city and there's only one or two of them at home. You've got the fact that it's just that one machine and everything, you know, you can do your all-in-one meals. One of the things that people were really impressed by, that I know Leanne and myself, we were both talking about on the weekend, was the all-in-one cooking. You know, the fact that you have your potatoes in the bottom, you have all your veggies, and then you might have your parcels of your salmon or your fish or your chicken up the top. You know, within 20 minutes, that meal's cooked, take it all out, drain your potatoes, put your egg whip and your butter and everything in, pulse it for 3 to 5 seconds, you've got an amazing mash. Take that out, give it a quick rinse, and then you can put your stir assist in and make a beautiful mustard white wine sauce in there in 8 minutes. And so you've got that whole meal in one. So, you know, that really appeals to some people.
Well, it goes straight in the dishwasher. That's what appeals to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, it's those sort of things that you can't ever assume that this machine is not going to suit a particular audience or a particular group. You know, we had a young lad, he would have only been, mid-20s, I guess, come over and say, oh, you're targeting the wrong people. This would be awesome for someone like myself. And it's like, yeah, well, come on, buy one. But you are targeting, you can make this appeal to so many different people. You know, people that are moving out of home, people that are getting engaged, people that are getting married. You know, I know we've touched before on bridal showers and that sort of thing. So, you know, I actually think there's a really big market out there for people that maybe have some sort of learning or intellectual or physical disabilities. I actually think the cook processor would be absolutely fantastic for them. I used to work in the disability field many, many years ago, another lifetime, and I can just see that there's a huge potential for that as well, you know, in shared housing or if they're in independent living. And, you know, that's the way it's going. You know, they want so many of these people with disabilities to be out in their own homes. So I think that that's something fantastic, just because we have so many safety features on the cook processor. So, yeah, I think you just need to get out of your head. Don't assume that particular groups won't be interested in it. It's something that appeals to so many. And you know what, even like the group, if it doesn't suit them, you still talk about it and go, well, what about, you know, do you have any children at school, or do you have grandkids or anything like that? Because you know what, I love to come into schools and do cooking demonstrations with the kids, and that can lead to, it might be just you going and, you know, doing a good service and teaching some kids that maybe never get to touch or do any cooking at home. That you're creating an experience for them, but then it might then snowball for you, and then, you know, they have their little budget and go, look, these machines would be fantastic in our kitchen at the school, which is exactly what happened to me. Sorry, Trace.
I'm going to say I loved, I've had the opportunity to work with Leanne and Jayne this weekend. Very intense 2 days. It was beautiful though. And the first two ladies that rocked up, Leanne sold 2 KitchenAid Cook Processors too, and they were well into their late 60s, and one went, well, if you're getting it, I'm getting it. And it was like, okay, $1,600 just done like that. So again, what Jane's just saying, don't presume. But I loved how Jayne over the 2 days was talking about her 2 beautiful boys, and, you know, I love that she's integrating the cooking. And this is what I mean, I've got 2 girls, but I really believe that when a man comes into their wives' lives and they've had a great mum who has taught them all of these things, you know, and they're confident in the kitchen, I think it's an asset. So Jayne's got 2 beautiful boys, and she was talking today about last 2 days about how she teaches them how to use the cook processor because she knows it's safe and they won't hurt themselves with a couple of tips.
Yeah. Definitely. And, you know, I was saying on the weekend that the weekend before, the Saturday afternoon before, my 11-year-old had a maid over, and they come into me. I was in the office and they said, "Oh, Mum, can we make a banana bread?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go for it." And the 2 of them were out there and had the banana bread mixed up and made in no time. So things like that. I know Karen that's on, you know, she showed us at our class last night a fantastic video of what her daughter had put together for a school project. But, you know, just to see kids doing that. And like I said, you know, going into schools, if that's an option, it's such a great thing that we can offer people, and you never know what will come of that. I've even had schools that already have thermomixes in their home ec centres, but then have gone, well, you know, I've actually had 2 Christian schools that have done exactly that. I did a presentation and they have both gone and got the cook processors as well, because their logic behind it is obviously the bigger capacity and the safety features, but also the fact that the children that are coming through, or the young adults that are coming through, you can see that there's different options out there. It's not just this one machine that's available. There are other options available. So, so I think we need to just get out of our head that, you know, this won't appeal to people, and exactly the same with markets, with fundraisers, anything like that. I think it's really important for you to still, and you can put it back on the company, and like I said before, say it's actually company policy that I just have it sitting there. So if you've got, you know, some a host that says, "Oh yeah, but all of my friends own thermomixes," it's like fantastic. You know, the great thing about this is we're still learning, we're still in an early partnership with KitchenAid. So the great thing is for us to get feedback. So I would love to get some feedback from your customers about what the differences are and what they think, because then I can take that feedback back to KitchenAid and, you know, we can improve or whatever. So, you know, you're putting it back on the company, and it's not making it sound like you're like, "Oh, you know, this is a bit hard and I don't want to have it there because the host has told me no." So yeah, that's something I think is really important. I think one of the things on the weekend and demos that I've done that people don't realise is how much money you can save by having this machine. Yes, again, it is an investment. The 12 months interest free is fantastic. But, you know, one of the things I always say is the difference I can see in my food bill, because I'm making stuff from scratch. And, you know, I'm happy to tell people I'm hardly home, but I can still manage to crank out, you know, 2 or 3 batches of bread rolls or focaccia, or like today, my husband, it's been raining, so he hasn't been able to get on the header, and a few of the blokes, it's probably a good little mental health gathering for the blokes, getting together for lunch. And he said to me, "Oh, can you just make me one of those, you know, those big focaccia bread things so I can take that for lunch?" And I did that and whipped up a dip as well for him to take. And he said, "Oh, you know, everyone was," and it's so quick and easy. So I think if we can relay to people that this is, you know, it's easy to use, it's easy to clean, and you're going to save money. And there's so many people that are health conscious these days with intolerances and all that sort of stuff, that if we can show them how quick and easy it is, you capture people. And, you know, someone knows someone that's gluten intolerant. I know Karen and Jeanette that are on at the moment with Mastering Masterclass last night. We did the Christmas puddings, the steamed Christmas puddings in top of the wok, and we did it in the little individual tartlets. And the Christmas pudding recipe has fresh breadcrumbs in it. So like I said, you know, someone with intolerances, they could make their loaf of gluten-free bread, which is an absolute winner. If you haven't done that at your classes yet, please give it a go, because people are blown away by it. They can make their gluten-free loaf of bread, whiz it up so they've got fresh breadcrumbs, and pop that into their puddings, and fantastic. And, you know, what a nice gift. You know, Jeanette's told me that she's gluten intolerant. What a fantastic thing for me to do for her as a Christmas present. You know, we're all about, instead of all this consumerism, making stuff that's easy. You know, what a fantastic thing for me to give to Jeanette for a Christmas present, a beautiful Christmas pudding that's completely gluten-free. She knows whose hands have been in it, whether that's a good thing or not. Sorry, Jenna. She knows exactly, what's gone in it, where it's come from, and so on. So, I think that's something that you can, the breadcrumbs were whizzed up in the Cook Pro in no time at all. So, little hampers and stuff like that, I think it's really important for you to talk about that at your classes now. The fact that Christmas is coming up, we speak about the fact we've got these beautiful little spice jars that are out at the moment, which are so cheap. Grab them, make a jam and a chutney and maybe a lemon curd or something, and put them into a little hamper for people. So, when you tell them and they realise it, they go, oh, yeah, awesome. I am on a budget this year. I need to be really careful about how much I'm spending. So that's where, with you making your veggie stock, the fact that you're not buying powdered stock anymore, a lot of people don't realise a lot of that powdered stock has got MSG in it. I didn't realise it. I used to always use the blue tub jar of powdered stock, whereas now I just use that stock for everything. So, those sort of things are where you can, if people are sort of going, yeah, but it's a lot of money, I'm on a budget, it's like, yes, definitely, this is an investment, but the thing is, you're going to notice the difference with your food bill and so on. And because stuff is so quick and easy to make, you will notice the difference with that. You can sort of see.
You've lost a lot of weight eating healthier. I mean, You have been with the Chef's Toolbox for a while, but do you think because now you have the KitchenAid as an additional part of your family, do you think that's helped you with eating healthier?
Yeah, and I think just sort of the convenience, like when I am focused, maybe wasn't focused on the weekend or today about my health, but I think it's something like, when I've done a pasta for them, I can do my zucchini noodles on the spiralizer, on the stand mixer, and then steam my zucchini noodles up the top of the Cook Pro. And you know what? So easy. I'm not getting a saucepan out and I'm not doing this and that. So, I can steam a piece of fish or chicken at the same time as they're having their snitties or whatever they're having. So, whereas, in the past, it's sort of like, oh, God, I've never cooked 2 separate meals for my family. But for me, it's now about me, and I can sort of go, well, I can manage this, and it is easy because I have that thing on my bench all the time. If I had to go and get something out of the pantry, like, my old food processor and whatever, I wouldn't use it because it was heavy and bulky and so on. But now, we've got the option with the food processor attachment as well, which is fantastic. So, yeah, I think it's really important for us to talk about stripping things back to basics, because there are so many people with food intolerances, but also so many people that are definitely health conscious. So, even things like your bread and your butter and your dip, I think they're still really good ones to show at your classes. And like I said, the gluten-free one if you want. But when you're doing your host coaching, it's just really important to just delve a bit deeper and sort of find out, or you might have even found out when they booked at their friend's class, but find out, who they've obviously got coming, have they got food intolerances, or what their focus is, and, are they older, younger, whatever, so that you've sort of got a bit of ground beforehand. And then when you're working out your menu with them, you can then sort of go, well, actually, Karen, I know you've got a bit of a tribe at home. I actually think something like the Moroccan chicken tagine would be great for your family as a big family meal. We can do that while we do some rice, 4-minute rice in the pressure cooker. Or I might sort of say, look, I know, Karen, you love your nut butters in your smoothies every morning, so I'd love to show you this fantastic peanut butter, which is great, but then we can actually use that peanut butter and we can put that into the crunchy satay beef and broccoli, or we could make our almond nut butter and make the cranberry bliss balls, because I know that you sort of, your kids love bliss balls, but they get a bit over the date ones at times. So, this is a really great one because it hasn't even got dates in it. So, I think that's where you just need to be really mindful of when you're doing your host coaching. Just go that little extra step further and just sort of find out, what's appealing to the host or his or her network as well. So, I think it's really important, or it is very important, to do your follow-up. Always have, I just grabbed one of my catalogues, always have your Cook Processor Discovery class flyer, because this is a great tool for get them to fill that out and just sort of say, look, you know, this is something that I just need you to fill out for me, because we are still getting feedback and, you know, relaying it back. And even if this isn't, the Cook Processor isn't something on your radar, just pop that down, because that's feedback for us as well. So you can get their details and then obviously you pop them into the system with a report. But it's just a good way that, you know, this month, that offer that's available with the freebies, you know, that's a good way that I can go back and I can see that, you know, Tina or Natalie's put on there that, well, actually they've circled a 6 or they've circled a 5. So that's not a 1. They're actually, oh, yeah, maybe this might be for them. So, you know, one of the things, you've got to remember that you're not bugging people. As long as you're not ringing them every day, you're not bugging them. What you're doing is you're offering them a customer service by following up with them, because they're like us. They have a mind full of stuff going on and they are flat out doing other stuff. Half of the people don't even open emails. So the fact that you're sending them a text message or giving them a quick call and just sort of saying, you know, look, Tina, I know when I met you 3 months ago at Karen's party, I know that you'd sort of said that you were maybe a little bit interested. I just wanted to give you the heads up about the offer that we have available. And, you know, just touch base with them, and it's just customer service. If Tina doesn't want to answer my phone call, she sees my name pop up and it's got Jayne Tiller, Chef's Toolbox Lady. She don't want to talk to me. She's not going to answer the phone. I'll still leave a message, and I'll also write that in my book that I contacted Tina on this date and I left a voice message. You know, I always have keep track of that, because that's just something that if I haven't got it written down, I don't remember it. So, you know, this time of year, I think it's also really important. Print off your little Christmas wish list. This is a great tool as well, because they might put on there that, you know, they don't care about anything for anyone else. They want the Cook Processor themselves. So, you know, and then you can sort of be a bit sneaky when you're doing their order and say, oh, what did you have on your Christmas wish list? Because, you know, make sure you take this home, because I know that Jeanette's booked a follow-on booking. And, you know, then you've got, you know, there might be some stuff that you want to get at Jeanette's party to support her as well. So, you know, if they've got something like the KitchenAid on there, fantastic. I always have the vouchers printed out as well, so it's got all my details so they can actually take them home with them, because I also want them to obviously jump onto my Facebook page, but also tell them to go on and have a look at the recipes. We've got some great recipe community networks as well. So I think it's always good for you to obviously have, you know, any of the flyers or anything like that. But there's also this fantastic little tool that you might not have seen. It's my wish list. It's what are they called?
I came when I went into Diana Ferrari years ago. They used to have these little business cards. It was called Drop a Hint card. I love that. Just like you write down what you want as a dress, or you're going to Tiffany's, the diamond you want, or you're going to Chef's Toolbox and you write down the piece of product you want. And I went, we need this stuff. And you just leave it on the with their shaving, or you leave it on in their where they're jumping in their car or in their wallet. So it's a drop a hint card for the hubby.
Quite subtle, I think, but I really like it. So, and especially now, you know, now with our websites that people can, you know, or add to a party or whatever, the fact that they can get it shipped to wherever, this is a great tool. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Drop a hint card.
Drop a hint, that's the one. What else did I have jotted down? On the other thing, you know, with something like the wish list and that, and us following up with them, doing that follow up with them within 3 days of them seeing it, or like I said, you know, even months down the track, you've got that information about them. The thing is, you know, it mightn't have appealed to them, or they mightn't have had the money 3 months ago. But, you know, now I've contacted Jeanette, and she has just had a birthday and her family have given her some money. So she might sort of go, well, what a nice thing for me to do, to put that money towards something that I really want, but that's also going to benefit my family as well. or Christmas money, stuff like that. So I think, we sort of forget that
regular contact, that regular update. It's not about, overstepping the mark. It's about just reminding that we're still there. Perfect.
It's customer service. You don't get that with department stores. That's what we're about. We're creating a customer service for them. We're building up that constant rapport with them as well. We've already, met them. Even some people that we haven't met through online events and stuff, you're still building up that rapport with them and you're building up that trust. So, so I think that's great. The other thing that I think at the moment is really, really important, you've probably seen a bit of hype yesterday around the Christmas game. Honestly, we spoke about it at our class last night. If you want to get some bookings into the next couple of weeks and you're just sort of going, I've exhausted absolutely, I've tried everything, I don't know what to do, I can't get the bookings, hand on heart, try the Christmas game, because you just get instant results. And like we said last night, there will be people that have never been to one of your classes, that have never commented on any of your specials or may not have bought anything, that will play these sort of games. They love it. It's just something, it's a bit of fun. They don't have to respond to it afterwards. If you send them obviously the copy and paste, and you can send them follow-on stuff. If they say, look, no thanks, that's not for me, that's fine. But you've also started to build up that little bit of rapport with them as well. So, there might be another Christmas offer comes out, and then they might go, okay, I actually would like that. I've been looking for a knife block set or something like that. And then they might sort of go, oh, actually, I remember Jayne's a consultant, I'm going to contact her. So that Christmas game, honestly, you can get your bookings. I just cannot tell you how important it is to try it, because I popped it up this morning. I haven't had a chance because, it might have been Melbourne Cupping, but I haven't had a chance to have a look. And I had a quick look before, so I popped it on my personal page and my closed group, my business page, and I've already got, I think, 60 odd on one of the pages and 36 on the other one or something.
Wow.
And I know Jeanette had instant results last night. She popped it up while we were having our meeting. And was it 21 minutes, Jeanette, and then you got a booking for a KO demo, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So can I ask you, gorgeous girl, what's your top? So we've just spent the weekend together making a couple of very easy dips. So if you were out doing your KitchenAid demonstrations, what would you demonstrate? Because again, for someone who's new looking at this going, I'm a bit nervous, what should I opt in to do as your demonstration for recipes?
Yeah, look, the dips, any of those dips, like the hummus, the guacamole, the sun-dried tomato one, I know we were doing the demonstration with the fresh capsicum and the sun-dried tomatoes and the cashews. I actually, home here, I just have big jars out in our fridge because we're not close to a shop of roasted capsicum and sun-dried tomatoes. So before I went out today, I just quickly chucked it all into the mini bowl, chunks of parmesan cheese, some cashews, little bit of lemon zest and some fresh parsley, and not even a minute, and I had a beautiful dip to take with us. So those ones are awesome. And the other really good tip is say to people, the great thing about this dip, the kids will take it to school with some carrot sticks and whatever. If it hasn't been eaten within, 4 or 5 days, I'm chucking that into a pasta sauce, or I'm spreading it out on the base of a pizza or on pizza scrolls for the kids' lunch boxes. So, talk to people about the fact that, I used to waste hundreds of dollars over the years of buying a tub of dip, putting it in the fridge, and then, it gets chucked out, or it's had a couple of scoops out of it, and that's it. So whereas now, even the kids will get up and make the guacamole to go with their tacos. So it's just that sort of really quick, easy thing. So you don't have to go, I've got to reinvent the wheel, I've got to do a different recipe, rah-de-rah, because there might be 1 or 2 people there that have had the chicken dumplings or the chicken tagine or the satay beef and broccoli, but you know what, those other 8 people there haven't. So have a look at the menu that we've got that you can print out, and I've actually just adjusted it, and I've removed or I've added the things that I like to do, and that's the menu that they get in their host pack, And then obviously I talk to them sort of, 5 or 6 days beforehand and talk to them about, what we want to do. Always like to obviously do stuff in the saute pan and the pressure cooker as well, if that fits in. So I think just don't be scared of it. And you know what? Feel free to use and abuse us leaders, because, we've been doing it for long enough that we can give you hints and tips and stuff like that as well. So I think if you get the opportunity to go along to other people's classes as well, I think that's really important. So, and run your own cooking classes. If you don't have bookings, see if you can invite some people into your home and just run a class, or if you've got somewhere cheap you can hire, just run an actual physical cooking class for the KitchenAid, and you'll get those customers to you, whether they've already got their KitchenAid or not, and you'll be very surprised at the response that you get. You get bookings, you'll get sales of the specials, because you'll always have toolbox stuff out as well, and obviously the offers for the KitchenAid. So
has there any questions for the beautiful Jayne before she goes? She's been on fire. Anyone got any questions?
Yeah. Jayne, I had a lady that's hosted, and she's having another demo, and she's allergic to garlic and onion.
Yep.
What dip would you suggest?
I'd just do you'd have to be careful with the sun-dried tomatoes to make sure that they haven't got garlic in them, but I'd just do it without the garlic, completely fine. The other thing you can do, I actually did home here the other day, it was a beetroot hummus, didn't have garlic in it. I'd roasted some fresh beetroot in the saute pan on the cooktop, and then just chuck that in and just did a hummus like that. And I always put a bit of lemon in my hummus as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably do that. Are you doing like a main meal as well?
Yeah, the last one we did the chicken tagine without the onion and garlic in it, which I wonder what the flavour would have been like, but they all said they liked it. So
yep, and something like that, I'd probably just add a bit more of the spice mix into something.
They all said it had enough spice in it. And the Moroccan is one that doesn't actually have any garlic in it.
Yeah,
most of our spice mixes do.
Yep. And the chicken dumplings, they're always winner. Do that without the garlic. It's got the fresh ginger and everything through. So you don't need to put the spring onions through it.
Yeah.
And if you've got, just on those chicken dumplings, if you've got some gluten-free people that are there, obviously the wonton wrappers have gluten in it. I just do little chicken balls. So instead of, you just put some of the mixture in as little balls. So then they can still have some of the beautiful Asian broth that you've made in the bottom to serve with the dumplings. They can still have the broth with the chicken balls as well.
So you don't put them in the wonton wrappers?
No.
Oh, because that's me. I love those. I love them. Love them. They're amazing. Okay.
Yep. So you just, you can still do steam, just one area that just with the chicken balls. But always do your little Asian broth underneath instead of just having your water. It's beautiful.
What do you put in the broth?
Pretty much everything that we are chucking into the chicken mix. So I just put, about that much water in the bottom of the cook processor, chuck in a bit of soy, a bit of the oyster sauce, some of the, just the coriander leaves if you're putting that in. If you're putting spring onions in, I just chop up the green tops of it, some slices of ginger and garlic and some fresh chili if you've got it. It's just pretty much whatever.
That's infusing up into the, excellent. Cool.
Yeah, so it's just bubbling away, and then when we serve it, just put a ladle full of that in a bowl, and they can have it like that. It's just beautiful, so fresh.
Beautiful. Has there any other questions for beautiful Jayne? Nope, because we're a little bit over time. Yay! Thank you so much. All right, in 2 weeks' time, we're going to start off with back to Toolbox Uni and going back to the basics. So thank you, girls. Thank you. Have a great night, and see you soon.
Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate your time.
And for those who are watching, thank you so much for coming back on and watching. Bye.
See ya.
Ta-da.
Bye.